Roman Reigns gets stunned by Solo Sikoa backstage. Triple H takes a page out of Tony Khan's book. Roman Reigns strikes back against Nick Aldis following SmackDown. Triple H allegedly looks at a star like a piece of candy. The Rock caught off guard by a young Logan Paul. Former champion helps Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble. WWE finally addresses Seth Rollins' injury. Top star replaces Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40. Let's jump right into it. Roman Reigns strikes back against Nick Aldis following SmackDown. Nick Aldis sure got under Roman Reigns' skin on SmackDown last night. The general manager threatened to strip the tribal chief of the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Last night's warning wasn't the first time Aldis had teased friction between him and the head of the table. The pair had been involved in a tense backstage segment on SmackDown a couple of months ago. Aldis is stamping his authority by the day and can pull rank on anyone, and that includes the undisputed WWE Universal Champion. That being said, here are 5 ways Roman Reigns can one-up Nick Aldis following their interaction on the blue brand. Number 5. Roman Reigns threatens to no-show Royal Rumble 2024. Reigns is set to defend his undisputed WWE Universal Championship at the upcoming Royal Rumble Premium Live event. The champion will put his title on the line in a fatal 4-way match featuring AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy Orton. Even though all 4 men have signed the contract, the champion could threaten to no-show the upcoming Premium Live event, putting the title match in jeopardy. While that is very unlikely to happen, such a sweeping declaration would definitely create drama ahead of the match. Number 4. The Bloodline walks out on SmackDown. The Bloodline has been the top act on SmackDown for nearly 4 years now. Roman Reigns brought together the Usos following a bitter feud with Jey in 2020. The head of the table also mentored the twins ahead of their tag team title unification match against RK-Bro in 2022. Reigns could possibly walk out on SmackDown as an act of defiance against Nick Aldis. The tribal chief knows he doesn't need to be pinned or submitted in the fatal 4-way match. He could retaliate against the Blue Brand's authority figure post-Royal Rumble. Number 3. Paul Heyman shows up on Raw. Adam Pearce may no longer want anything to do with the Bloodline, as the faction caused considerable trouble for the WWE executive in 2022. That being said, Pearce won't mind if Paul Heyman comes up with a proposal to bring the entire Bloodline to the red brand. Pearce's relationship with Aldis is strictly business at this point. The SmackDown general manager has openly extended invitations to Raw talents to discuss important matters with him. Pearce could be forced to act sooner than later. Number 2. Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa take the Blue Brand hostage. Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa were responsible for putting AJ Styles on the shelf. The Phenomenal One returned to action a few weeks ago and immediately picked up his feud with the Bloodline. He also made enemies out of LA Knight and Randy Orton in the process. Roman Reigns can potentially order Jimmy and Solo to take care of the SmackDown locker room in his absence. Hypothetically, the Bloodline could attack fellow superstars as an act of defiance against general manager Nick Aldis. Number 1. Nick Aldis is forced to compete. Nick Aldis may have been brought in as an authority figure, but there is no denying he's a fantastic in-ring performer. Aldis had a historic reign with the NWA and was also AJ Styles' last opponent in TNA wrestling, so Aldis can step up whenever he wants to, or whenever it is inevitable. Roman Reigns seems to be the perfect comeback opponent for the SmackDown general manager. The head of the table posted a message for Aldis on TikTok during the show this week. Could we see Reigns versus Aldis at a WWE PLE in 2024? Triple H allegedly looks at a star like a piece of candy. A 30-year-old professional wrestler recently claimed that WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H sees great potential in him. The game is widely known for recruiting up-and-coming talents to World Wrestling Entertainment who end up achieving significant goals in the business. One of the names that has seemingly caught the 14-time world champion's attention is Luke Curtis. The 30-year-old star is a member of the Ohio Valley Wrestling (OVW) roster and has been a multi-time Rush Division champion. Burning bright in the squared circle, Kurtz is a rising star who has already graced the mats of AEW, WWE, NWA, and ROH. Speaking with Tom Campbell of the Cultaholic Wrestling News, the 30-year-old star spoke about making a potential debut in World Wrestling Entertainment. Luke Curtis shared that the Stanford-based promotion knows him very well since he had worked for them on multiple occasions. The OVW star is confident that soon he will be a part of WWE because the King of Kings has looked at him with curiosity and wonder. I've worked for them, WWE, many times already. Triple H looked at me like a piece of candy. He looked right at me many times like, who's that? Who's that? Who's that? I know if he looked at me like, I wonder what it'd be like if this guy was here. And if I was there, I would tear that place down, Curtis said. The former world champion Randy Orton was recently featured in a Lady O'Carion's music video. The Puerto Rican music star launched a new music track, RKO, as the Viper showed up at the near end of the video, followed by the dangerous 3-letter finisher on a paparazzi probably. Taking to X, Triple H commented on the magnificent crossover outside the squared circle. Eddie Letio Carry On and at Randy Orton hit this one out of the park. Get ready to have RKO on repeat all weekend at San Benito, he wrote. The game also promoted this year's Elimination Chamber, which featured Rhea Ripley on the marquee poster. Only time will tell if the chief content officer signs the OVW star in 2024. Do you think Luke Curtis should be a part of WWE under Triple A's regime? The Rock caught off guard by a young Logan Paul. The Rock is a renowned name in the pro wrestling industry in Hollywood. Over the years, other pro wrestlers, including John Cena and Batista, have successfully moved to the big screen. Logan Paul has also appeared in a few movies and television shows. He was also a part of Dwayne Johnson's 2017 action comedy Baywatch. Paul played the role of an aspiring lifeguard named Zane, who was barred from applying to be a part of the team because he insulted his peer. However, the scene never made it to the actual cut of the movie. In a resurfaced clip, a young Logan Paul interacts with Dwayne Johnson on the Baywatch sets. The Maverick asked the Brahma Bull about their scene when The Rock reminded him Paul only had a couple of lines in one scene and they don't have any scenes together. Before ending the clip, Paul asked the Great One to take it easy before pointing at Rock's head to say, "Nice haircut, by the way." The former WWE champion looked seemingly annoyed and walked away after saying, "Yeah, whatever." Back in 2018, the Maverick was a sensational YouTube star and did a series on Tokyo Adventures. While in Japan, he visited the infamous Okigahara Forest, also known as the Suicide Forest. During his visit, he came across a deceased person and made demeaning jokes. The video went viral and he received a lot of backlash because of the same. Sometime after that incident, Johnson's publicist, who was also Paul's publicist at that point, made a difficult call to the Maverick. Logan Paul revealed the conversation on True Jury podcast. After Japan happened, I got a call from my publicist who also repped Dwayne Johnson. She's like, "Hey, Dwayne has asked that you remove every video and picture that you've done with him. Maybe in the future it can be reconciled, but for now he doesn't want anything to do with you," which I also understood. I made a grotesque error. He has had things happen in his life where that incident has affected him in a personal way. My hero wanted nothing to do with me. The Rock's mother had attempted suicide when he was just 15 years old, and possibly Paul's video affected him quite a bit. Logan Paul has apologized for the video and has taken accountability for his actions. It remains unknown if the Maverick and The Rock ever attempt to reconcile, but individually, both have been working towards their personal growth in the industry. Former champion helped Cody Rhodes win the Royal Rumble. Cody Rhodes has already declared himself as a participant in the upcoming Royal Rumble match. The American Nightmare has a chance to make history by becoming only the fourth superstar to win back-to-back Royal Rumble matches after Shawn Michaels, Hulk Hogan, and Steve Austin. However, with The Rock returning recently, there is speculation that Rhodes will not be finishing his story at WrestleMania this year, and The Rock will face his cousin Roman Reigns for the gold. However, a recent report by Dave Meltzer stated there is a chance that WWE do a three-way match involving all three men. For that, Cody Rhodes needs to win the Royal Rumble. However, Shinsuke Nakamura has vowed to eliminate Rhodes from the match. It is possible that the Japanese star tries to break the rules and enters the match after being eliminated just to throw Rhodes over the top rope. Rhodes' old legacy teammate, Ted DiBiase Jr., could return after 11 years and help the American Nightmare by taking out Nakamura of the equation. In 2013, Ted DiBiase Jr. departed from WWE after a 6-year tenure with the company. His notable contributions include being a part of Legacy alongside Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, as well as holding the $1 Million Championship made famous by his father and Hall of Famer, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase. Despite the potential for success as a singles star following the disbandment of Legacy, DiBiase opted to let his contract expire and departed WWE in 2013. He stated the reason for his departure while talking to Chris Van Vliet. "I was battling some things internally. There were some mental health issues. I was going through depression and anxiety and also being a new father. I just knew. What I didn't have growing up, although I had this iconic father I loved dearly, he wasn't at my birthdays," said DiBiase Jr. Ted's return to the company would mark the first time in 11 years that all members of Legacy would be a part of WWE. By helping Cody win, he will further establish Rhodes as the top babyface who still has the support of his old friends. WWE finally addresses Seth Rollins' injury. Things seem to be looking bleak for Seth Rollins following a real-life injury he suffered on WWE Raw this week. The Visionary got hurt during his World Heavyweight Championship match against Jinder Mahal on Monday night. According to a few reports, Rollins tore his MCL and suffered a partial meniscus tear. This means he may miss around 4 weeks or possibly more if surgery is required, putting his WrestleMania 40 status in doubt. WB has finally acknowledged Seth Rollins' injury during the latest episode of SmackDown, confirming that he will kick off Raw next week and address his future as World Heavyweight Champion. It is not known what will happen, with the possibility of Rollins relinquishing his World Heavyweight Championship seem pretty high. The Visionary may give up the belt and go into rehabilitation before returning in time for WrestleMania 40 for a big match. Alternatively, Seth could probably announce that he will continue his title reign while recovering from the injury. WWE is reportedly planning a match between Rollins and CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship at the show's shows this year, so it would be quite disappointing if a change is enforced. Wrestling Flash wishes Seth Rollins the best in his recovery and that he can return to the ring as quickly as possible. Top Star replaces Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40. Seth Rollins' injury has WWE fans sweating as his match against CM Punk at WrestleMania 40 remains in the balance. The Visionary is set to update the WWE Universe on his health and future on next week's episode of Monday Night Raw. The current World Heavyweight Champion reportedly tore his MCL and suffered a partial meniscus tear. This could likely mean a return in time for the show's shows, but that doesn't mean Triple H shouldn't prepare for the worst-case scenario. What if Rollins' recovery doesn't go as well as expected? There must be a backup plan for Punk. Fortunately, he had an electric promo exchange with Drew McIntyre earlier this month on WWE Raw. That has led to interest in a match between the two. It can easily happen at WrestleMania 40 with CM Punk defending the World Heavyweight Championship. The Scottish Warrior is yet to main event a Mania, fans in attendance, so this match could headline Night 1 if Seth Rollins can't make it. A twist that can be added to spice up this potential storyline is the acknowledgement of McIntyre's contract expiring after WrestleMania 40. He could announce it as his final shot at the World Heavyweight title, following several failed attempts recently, even offering to quit WWE if he doesn't win the belt. Drew McIntyre can lose to CM Punk and follow through with his promise by actually leaving. He'd take a few months off from wrestling to recover and recharge before finally deciding his next move. The Scotsman will create an enormous buzz if he shows up at AEW All in 2024, while a potential WWE return isn't entirely out of the question too. The ideal scenario would see CM Punk facing Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 40 itself. However, if the Visionary can't make it and Drew McIntyre does replace him, WWE can end up booking the hotly anticipated match at the subsequent SummerSlam. Punk could even hold the World Heavyweight Championship until then. Hopefully, it doesn't come to this and Seth Rollins is good to go for Mania. WWE has done a fantastic job in building anticipation for the match through work shoots and promo battles so far. We'll see CM Punk face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 40. Triple H takes a page out of Tony Khan's book. Triple H has received a lot of praise ever since he took creative control of WWE. The storylines, matches, and shows have all been exceptional since the game became the COO. However, recently, thanks to an injury to Seth Rollins, things seem to be slightly derailing. As such, there is a chance Hunter will have to take a page out of Tony Khan's book. All Elite Wrestling's president, Tony Khan, has made his organization a formidable rival of the WWE over the past few years. Many rumors about a potential partnership have surfaced throughout the years, but nothing concrete has materialized as of yet. But considering Rollins' recent injury scare in a title match against Jinder Mahal, Triple H may have to consider a tactic AEW employed recently. The tactic in question revolves around the World Heavyweight Championship. With the Visionary possibly out of action, the Cerebral Assassin could choose to instate an interim champion. This is similar to how Khan in 2022 installed Jon Moxley as interim AEW World Champion before having him beat CM Punk on an episode of Dynamite. Right now, the rumor mill was awry with suggestions that Punk, who is now with WWE, would challenge Rollins at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship after winning the Royal Rumble. But if WWE is looking to switch things up, they could crown the best in the world as interim champ much earlier and then perhaps have a unification match at the show of shows. It certainly would make for an engaging storyline. However, this is all just mere speculation, and there is no telling what the company has in store for the WWE universe. Aside from the hypotheses and conjectures, Triple H and WWE may need to give the World Heavyweight Championship some serious thought. After all, Monday Night Raw's opening segment featuring Seth Rollins is scheduled for next week. This may seem normal, but Rollins will kick off Raw to address his future. And given all that has happened recently, there's a chance his announcement could be about his future as the World Heavyweight Champion. Do you think Rollins may be forced to relinquish his title due to injury? Roman Reigns gets stunned by Solo Sikoa backstage. Roman Reigns refused to show up for the contract signing in the opening segment of WWE SmackDown tonight and stayed backstage instead. In one of the segments on the second half of the show, he went crazy and began to sound incoherent before Solo Sikoa stunned him with his words. Reigns seemed unhappy with how things had been going in the past couple of weeks. Last week on WWE SmackDown, the trio of LA Knight, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton defeated Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso in a handicap match. Solo Sikoa took responsibility for it and said he would fix it. After Paul Heyman went out and Orton sent him a message, Reigns was asking Jimmy Uso why he wasn't the one out there. While he was saying yeet, no yeet, and other things, he slowly began to lose it and sounded completely incoherent by the end. This was before Solo Sikoa stunned him into silence. boldly stating that he would take responsibility and fix the situation. It's going to be interesting to see how the dynamic plays out between Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa. It was Sikoa who was named the Tribal Heir, and that was what he wanted to live up to. Some believe that Roman Reigns' road to WrestleMania would see him finally face Solo Sikoa, but that doesn't appear to be the case as of now. What do you think of the tensions within the bloodline?
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing